Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, what a crazy ass episode of Superman and Lois. I'm still hyped up after the episode I just watched. Guys, this will be my spoiler review for Superman and Lois Season 1, Episode 11 called Truth and Consequence. I cannot get over how awesome this episode was. One, I was super excited because we left off in last week's episode with John L, which is I think his name. John L, which is the son of Cal over there, which is Bizarro. Or before he even becomes Bizarro, or he is Bizarro, or whatever. And we see him rushing through the portal, through the inverse portal, trying to get to our universe, trying to connect and trying to merge with our, of course, Jonathan. And we pretty much continue right from there. And I love how, like, once we see, because in before last week's previous episode, the way we ended off the one before last week's episode is as Jonathan. Clearly, the Jonathan from the inverse universe coming there to go tell Lois and tell Jordan, our Lois and Jordan, about what happened to Clark. You know what I mean? They're Clark. And I was like, okay, he's probably telling them like, oh, like I wonder if he's like, if something did happen bad to Clark, it wasn't that Jonathan's fault. But it turns out he was involved in with all the craziness going on, and he was only going there not to give them, you know what I mean, not to like be there as a friend, but to be there to try to merge with our Jonathan. And might I just say, that was the coolest fucking scene, seeing, the moment where like he says, oh, I'm here for him. And we see our Jonathan walking up, and he's like, oh, like, why? And we clearly see he's trying to merge. And we see the moment where he's trying to go after Jonathan. He ends up, and Jordan tries to intervene. But, of course, like, I guess, like, John L. is able to hear, Jordan try to rush behind him, trying to stop him, and able to turn around and, like, threw Jordan against the hay. Which I was like, okay. I was like, I don't see that how, because you guys kind of got your powers around the same time, but they clearly specify in this episode that time works differently over there, because it was a month that Clark was gone, you know what I mean, or like, I think it was a month that Clark was gone in our universe, but it was only a day for him. It felt like a day. So clearly he's had his powers a little bit longer, I guess, than our Jordan. At least that's what I'm assuming. For them, it's like I guess not a day or whatever or something, or I don't even know, because it seems like at the same time, it seems like they get the powers around the same time. So I was like, okay, like how come Jordan wasn't able to like stand against himself a little bit? But like but that doesn't even matter though. That you just turned around and threw Jordan. I was like, okay, and like we see the moment where like the amounts of power that this necklace is making, trying to make both of the Jonathans merge. That was a 16, and of course I was like, okay, where's Clark? Ends up flying out of the portal, ends up like smashing in between them to break them apart before they merge, which was sick seeing that. And then, of course, we see, John L. like running away, flying away like a little big baby, pretty much because he knows that he's weak there. He's going to be weak there. And I was like, okay, that makes sense because it's the yellow sun. But it really annoyed me because we didn't see how weak he should have been on this universe. I feel like that was something the writers didn't do very well, is because it just, the amount, for how weak Clark got on the inverse universe, John L. did not get that weak as I was expecting, which he should have, because it made no sense he wasn't like as weak as Clark was on when he went to the inverse universe. So I don't like how they wrote that. That kind of annoyed me. He should have been a lot weaker. For even if Jordan didn't have even if John L. has powers longer than Jordan still should have been able to beat him quicker in their first encounter. But I guess it was a surprise attack in a way where maybe Jordan thought, it was in over his head, not thinking about the situation. But when it comes to round 2, which I cannot wait to talk about, because that was probably the best scene of this episode. But as I said, like, John L. runs away, and at this point he wants to go fly after John L. So, but of course Lois tells him to stay with Jonathan, and of course we see the moment where he he ends up having a moment with Jonathan, pretty much saying like I don't care, I know we've been going through some things, me and you, but I don't even care about that. I promise you I'm going to keep you safe. And of course we get into this big conversation of like we're trying to at this at this point, like I guess after he says I'll keep you safe and all that stuff, he ends up going to go because Jonathan ends up having like the visions that Clark had when Bizarro was there, and then he ends up finding out where John L. is, and John L's trying to, what it looks like, to go get to go get Lana, which I was like, okay, like why does this make sense? I'm like, why is he trying to get Lana? I understand that they were like, they worked together, with Allie, but I was like, really, what's the point of him getting her? I was like, that's not what you came here for. What you came here for was to merge with yourself and then go get everybody else and go do everything like that, or get everybody ready by putting the necklace around them to get to signal the people in the inverse universe to say that they're ready to merge with their other selves. I was like, okay. I was like, why are you focused on Lana now? I guess because he failed the first time, because he knows that Superman's around and he knows that he can't do anything until he's gonna like work other angles to get other people connected. So he has some people to help him connect with with Jonathan. I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But we get to the moment where like Clark flies down. At the point, he's not dressed as Superman now. He's just dressed as Clark. He's flying down, pretty much, trying to blend in, but also trying to protect, Lana, because he kind of figured, okay, like, we want to go after Lana next, I guess. And that was very upsetting when Lana came out. Lana's really excited, saying, "Oh my God!" She's like, "Oh my God, Clark, you're back from from I guess your trip or whatever, that because Lois said he went on a trip for the paper and stuff, and he's like, oh, like he clearly didn't know what Lana was talking about. He tried to go with it like, oh yeah, I'm back or whatever, but you can tell he's distracted because there's John-El is literally right there and he has to stop him. So, one, to protect, Jonathan, but also protect everybody else in the town, because he knows what he's trying to get everybody ready for Allie. So, of course, Lana could clearly tell, and, Lana wants to also tell him, like, oh, like, how was your trip? Or, oh, like, trying to tell him, like, oh, I won, I'm mayor of Smallville now, but Clark clearly is distracted, so he's like, oh, like, it's like, oh, like, he's like, oh, I'll talk to you later, Lana, or whatever, and Lana, and like, you could tell Lana was very upset about that, saying, oh, I can clearly tell, you want to be somewhere else, okay, I'll see you, and she ends up walking away, and when she walks away, John-El is gone. He takes the opportunity to leave, but also, like, put in Clark's mind now that he's not just going after Jonathan, he's going to be going after Lana, but he doesn't really quite notice that until the moment where, like, Jonathan ends up pulling up to, like, Lana's place and ends up, like, pushing her against the thing and ends up taking her after, Sarah leaves, after Sarah gets her first car. It seems like the old car that, that Kyle and Lana had, or maybe it's Kyle's old car, and Lana's like, oh, you deserved it, or, me and your father thought you deserved it, and I was like, I guess, because how strong she's been with the whole them parting and stuff, and her breakup with Jordan, even though I thought to myself in that moment, like, why do you get a car? Like, I was like, because I totally forgot in the mind that, okay, yeah, they did split up, okay, but I was like, how do you get a car for you breaking up with Jordan and all the stuff that you've kind of been doing with Jordan in your relationship? But I thought to myself, okay, it's also because that's not why they're giving her the car. They're giving her the car because also she broke up with Jordan. She's been strong about that, and her after her breakup with Jordan, but she's also been strong about them, like, splitting up, her and Kyle. It's like, or like, Lana and Kyle. So I was like, okay, it makes sense. But that moment where, like, when John-El ends up popping down, that was a weird interaction, because I was like, oh my God, he's really making it personal for, like, not only to Jordan, but he's making it personal to everybody else, like, mainly making it personal to Jordan. I was like, you're really making it personal. You already beat him, but I was like, this is going too far with you trying to get into your brother's skin, because, you called him a weakling over there, and he's like, oh, of course the weakling here has powers. So I was like, this is really personal that you're going after Sarah. And mind you, at this point, like, Jordan is trying to figure out, like, is trying to make Sarah, like, wants Sarah to respond. He sent her so many text messages, but she doesn't want to respond. And, of course, Lois ends up finding out the idea, like, why don't you end up writing her a note? Because that way you'll have a clear, fine line of what you want to say, and I feel like you'll get your point across on what you're trying to say and how much she means to you. But of course, when he wrote that note, I knew he was going to be writing in about, what's been going on in his life, about, like, pretty much telling her the truth about him having abilities and stuff, but also I'm assuming him also being the son of Superman and how, like, Clark is Superman. I'm pretty sure that was probably in the note as well. But, after that, whole interaction where, with John-El pretty much, saying, like, Sarah's like, oh my God, Jonathan, what are you doing here? And he's like, she's like, why are you dressed like that? And of course he's like, oh, like, he doesn't even really respond exactly, besides asking where Lana is. And, like, Sarah's like, oh, how do you like the car? And he's like, I'm into Lambos now, but, it's an alright car. And that was just a weird interaction where she kind of knew, like, there's something up with Jonathan. And we see that a lot in this episode where, like, she's like she kind of feels like she kind of knows what's going on, or kind of feels like there's lies being told, because that's essentially why she broke up with Jordan, because she felt like she wasn't a priority. So it's like, and we do get a lot of that where, like, he takes Lana Sarah's wondering, people ask at the mayor's office, like, okay, where's Lana? She's wondering where her mother is. And Lois ends up being there, and she ends up telling Lois, like, oh, like, have you seen, like, oh, like, oh, like, oh, like, she ends up asking, like, where's Lana or whatever, and she's like, oh, well, she's at home. Jonathan asked for her. I saw Jonathan earlier, and she's like, what? Meaning that wasn't Jonathan, that was actually John L. And she's like, okay. And then that's when pretty much Lois tells Clark, like, oh, like, I think John took Lana, and she's like, he's like, oh, great, you know what I mean? But before we get to any of that, backtracking a little bit, after the him failing to stop John L, like, from failing to stop John L because Lana, like, saw Clark and tried to catch up with him. We end up going back to the house when he like, because his face when Lana said that you've been gone for a month, he's like, what? And then when he gets back to the place and talks to Lois is like, Clark's like, why didn't you tell me I've been gone for a month? And she's like, I thought you knew that. And he's like, no. Like, she's like, how do it, like, what did it feel like when you were over there? Like, how long did it feel like you were gone over there? He's like, it felt like a day. And she's like, you're telling me that it feels like time works differently over there? And at this point, she's like, okay, there's some other stuff we have to catch you up to speed on, meaning, like, and then we have the interaction between when Lois tells Clark about that Jonathan was protecting Candace for selling XK because of her, her father, needing money, and their family needing money. He's like, and even talks to Jonathan saying that's not okay that you lied. And he's like, I did it, to protect her. And like, I'm trying to explain to you why I lied or whatever. And he's like, it doesn't matter because you lied. You shouldn't have lied. Maybe she should have gotten in trouble. And he's like, you won't even let me explain to you why I lied, why I lied for her. When it's like, dude, there's no excuse. She's not a good girlfriend. There's other ways to get money without selling alien drugs that could eventually get people killed. It's like, no, bro. And she let you take the fall for it. It's like, no. But I hate it when, like, Jonathan pretty much tried to, like, to tell Clark, like, oh, it's the same thing, you know what I mean? Like, you lied to me too when you didn't tell me you were Superman for, like, 13 years, my entire life. And then I love how Lois is like, it's not the same. And then he's like, yeah, it is. And he's like, you know what I mean? I did it to protect Candace, but he did it to protect his secret. No, him protecting his secret, it's not even him protecting his secret. It's protecting the family. And him protecting the secret is protecting the family because you guys know, and it would put you guys in danger. There needs to be two sides because clearly he's like, I don't want it to be like what it was. You're telling me I should tell everybody, but no, it's like me protecting my secret is protecting is protecting my family, and me protecting my secret is what is essentially let me have a family. You don't know what I saw over there when with Bizarro, with Bizarro's world. Him and his in like in his family when like. He, like, told everybody who he was, and, like, the family always argued. They split apart. It was a mess over there. I don't want that happening to us. It's like, no. It's like, it makes sense because also it puts everybody else in danger, not just your family now, even though it's kind of putting them in danger that they know and they're keeping the secret, but it's still putting them in danger. It's like you would put everybody else in danger, and everybody that you've even, like, that is associated in your life, you could put them in danger, and anybody that knows your secret. That's why he has his secret, and I was kind of annoyed in this episode that he tried to make it sound like Clark was doing it for himself. He was protecting his secret, but not protecting the family. And Jonathan tried to make it sound like what he was doing was valid, and he had an excuse on why he was lying, and Clark has no excuse on why he's lying. I'm like, dude, shut up, bro. Like, Jonathan, you're really ticking me off, man. You shouldn't have lied, and you shouldn't be telling your dad, like, oh, you know what I mean, you protect your secret, you know what I mean, that's all you care about is protecting your secret. No, him protecting his secret is what's protecting you, you know what I mean. And it's like him even, I was like, hell, he didn't even have to tell you. He didn't have to tell you or Jordan. He really didn't. Because in the grand scheme of things, he did to protect you, and it's an honor that he even is willing to let you know his secrets. And when he knew that even him telling you his secret, like, would put you guys in danger, and you guys clearly aren't grasping that because you guys are having trouble in your relationships and all that. That's pretty much what it boils down to. The only problem is relationships. It's like, that's the bare minimum to what's actually going on right now. Like, people wanting to take over you guys and make you guys obsolete and put you guys in the sunken place. It's like, no, you have people, like, there's bigger problems here. And we see that in this episode where, like, Jordan's mad at Lois for going to see Lana to pretty much tell Lana that Clark pretty much trying to make an excuse for Clark, saying, oh, he just got back, there's stuff going on with him, pretty much trying to help Clark out with the bad interaction that he had with Lana. And and Lois really never meant to talk to to Sarah, but like she was doing it to kind of help out Jordan, not in any way like, oh, you know what I mean, like all she said was like, I know what happened between you and Jordan, you know what I mean, back in when, you know what I mean, you really don't know what's going on in other people's lives until you grow older, and you really experience a lot more, like, you know what I mean, experience some, you learn as you get older that people have stuff going on in their lives, and sometimes it's, I mean, it's just a part of life, pretty much saying that, like, trying to give an excuse for Jordan, saying that, he'll come around. But Jordan got angry at her. I was like, dude, she didn't say, like, oh, you guys should talk to each other again, or, oh, you guys should do that. Like, she just was, like, saying that she knew and was trying to, like, and trying to help you out. Not in any way that would make you look bad. So I was like, okay, Jordan, I guess. It's like, he was just whining a little bit, and I was like, oh, bro, like, come on. Like, she wasn't doing pretty much anything. She was just doing some small talk, you know what I mean, here waiting for Lana. So I was like, that just made no sense. I was like, oh, but it makes sense for Jordan's character because, he wants to handle things on his own, and he doesn't want to he doesn't want, Lois to keep giving Sarah more lies when he wants to tell Sarah who he is and what his life is about. Same as how Jonathan wants Clark to just admit to the whole world on who he is, so it makes his life a lot better. It's like the kids don't understand that what this will do if people know. That's the thing. They don't know. If they saw the Bizarro universe and saw how that was, they would. I 100% guarantee that they would change their mind about Clark, telling everybody about his identity of being Superman. I bet they wouldn't even want him to tell everybody that he's Superman. But that was what was going on in this episode, where he was mad at Sarah mad at Lois for talking to Sarah, even though Lois is like, that's so small to what's actually going on right now. Like, can we focus on the bigger picture and just cut me some slack for just trying to help a little bit. And I was like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a good mom. She was just trying to help out. I was like, okay, it wasn't even in a bad way. And that is small. That's nothing compared to what's going on. Especially, like, who cares about Sarah not answering your thing, dude? There's bigger things at stake here. You know what I mean? It's like, let's not forget about Sarah wanting you to hang out with the girl she cheated on you with. It's like, let's not forget that. Like, I was like, you know what I mean? That's peanuts right now, that problem, to what's going on right now. I was like, I was on Lois' side on that one. I was like, bro, there's bigger issues. Especially if you're trying to reach out and clearly she's not responding, I would just stop and have her be ready to talk to you. You know what I mean? Like, you keep texting isn't going to help the problem. But, it really was sad when, Sarah came in, trying to talk to Lois, like, okay, like, my mom is gone, I don't know who else to go to, what's going on. And, Jordan's there, and she's not talking to Jordan, and Jordan wants to give her, the paper about, how he, like, saying his feelings and what's going on, and pretty much wanting to tell her the truth, but she wouldn't even take it. She's like, I have bigger things going on right now, Jordan. I'm not in the mood or whatever. I don't want your notes. I was like, bro, just take the note. You don't have to read it right now, but you're going to want to read it. You're going to want to answer on why you think he doesn't think of you as a priority. You eventually are going to want to know, so take the note for later. I was like, I really thought my theory was in this episode is that, she would have came across a note and just would have just took it, having her name on it, and just seeing it when she was about to leave the house. But no, Jordan was about to give it to her, and she didn't take it. And I wonder if she'll, like maybe Jordan won't tell her, but then she'll just, I don't know, somehow get that note or something. I don't know, but I feel like by the way this episode ended, I would not be shocked if she found out Jordan's truth on another way, which I'll get to. But that moment, when Sarah leaves, at this point, Jordan really doesn't even know what to do because he feels upset that Sarah wouldn't take his note. Jonathan is still trying to pretty much stay, trying to pretty much, stay low right now at the house, pretty much trying not to, get any, go out and get captured by John-El. So at this point, also, we have, Jonathan is having, that kind of, connection with John-El, kind of how Clark was having with Bizarro. They kind of ask John Henry if he can figure out a way so he won't have those, have those connections to know, so John-El doesn't know where, Jonathan is. So he's trying to figure out with Natalie right now, trying to figure out a way to make it so John and John-El don't have their visions on telling them on where each other are. So they're trying to figure that, but also they're trying to figure out, they're trying to figure that out. They encounter, Lana, the bad Lana, because when John-El takes Lana, he puts the necklace around her, pretty much trying to activate the other Lana to pretty much come over and merge with our Lana. And I was like, oh, hell no. And we have that interaction between, John Henry and, Natalie trying to stop. Well, he told Natalie to run. I'm going to deal with this, because in this episode we really see how, like, John Henry wants to keep Natalie out of everything that's going on right now because it's dangerous. He said, I'm going to be protecting you, not the other way around. I'm supposed to do that because I'm the parent. And it's like Natalie wants to be involved. Natalie does not want to lose her dad like she lost her mother. So I understand where Natalie wants to be involved more and wants to protect her father. You know what I mean? She doesn't want to feel helpless. She wants to actually feel like she can, help out, which she can. She made John Henry's gear, so she can help out. So, they're trying to get some XK, I guess, or some what is it? Some matter. There's a word for it. Like, I think it's called, it's called not black. I forget what it's called. They're either trying to get some X. I think they're trying to get XK to power up the device they have to, I guess, to either trap or to trap. I think John L. I forget what it looked like, an air fryer they were working on. But I was like, okay, so you're trying to, like, it seems like trap John L. in the thing, I guess, or make it so, like, they don't, so that way, like, I guess Jonathan doesn't have any more visions. So I was like, okay, it's a valid plan. So they're trying to use the XK to power it up because they need a lot of electricity or a lot of, like, power to work it. And of course, we see the portal. We see, of course, bad Lana come in trying to fight John Henry. John Henry gets his butt whooped. And of course, at this moment, we see the moment where, like, I guess Lana's looking at the XK, but she, of course, would get weak because it's the inverse. So it's like the opposite. So she would get weak from the XK, but I think she would get stronger with the kryptonite. At least that's what I think. I don't think it's just for Bizarro he took kryptonite over there to get stronger, and I think they would take kryptonite to get stronger over there because the XK wouldn't work for them, same as how the XK would work for our Superman. He gets stronger off of it. So I was like, okay, that's why she looked at it and she wasn't going to take it, and that's why when Natalie stabbed, Bad Lana with it, she pretty much dipped because she got hurt, she got injured. So I was like, okay, so that I was like, because he tried using a red kryptonite solar flare on her, but that wasn't going to work because, mind you, right now John Henry thinks that she has powers like Superman. The red kryptonite, the red solar flare would work, but no, she's powered by the red. She has that helps her out. You know what I mean? It doesn't affect her, the red sun. So I was like, okay, but if you would have used maybe a yellow solar flare, would have worked? I guess. I was like, because I'm not quite sure how this all works. I know that the Bad Lana took XK, I'm assuming. So I don't even think the yellow solar flare would work because that technically necessary. I don't think she has like the weaknesses of Superman. So I was like, okay, so that wouldn't. I don't even know if that would have worked. But I guess the XK would have because because that would be her weakness, kind of like Instead of and kryptonite would be her strength. I'm assuming. So I was like, okay. I was like, so I don't even know if the yellow solar flare initially would have worked, but I'm assuming it probably would have. But I don't know. I don't think it would have. It should have worked though. When Jonathan came there, he wasn't as weak as I thought he should have been, because Clark even says, he's here, he'll be weaker because the red sun makes him stronger over there, and it made me weak over there, but him having the yellow sun here is going to make him weak. But it didn't really make him that much weaker, so I was like, I guess. I was like, that's kind of like a not good writing standpoint, but I was like, okay, I guess it made him a little bit weak. But at this point, while, Clark's trying to find Lana, ends up finding Lana, and, like, when John L. had Lana, he was, like, working on this weird, like, canister, trying to make an explosive, but trying to put, like, I was wondering what he was putting in it. I was like, he's probably putting kryptonite in it, making, like, a kryptonite bomb, so knowing that, of course, Superman would come to try to save Lana, and knowing that, he would try to protect her from the blast, but also, like, knowing that he would want to stand in front, and knowing that the kryptonite, shreds would go in him. So that was a very interesting scene. I was like, wow. I was like, how could you think that he wouldn't have tried doing that? But I was like, okay, I guess, he wouldn't have thought, that he would have found kryptonite and wanted to do that. So I was like, okay, it makes sense, I guess, that, he would want to do that. So seeing that scene was pretty freaking cool to see that, we're seeing how John L. is really trying to do everything and anything and everything, trying to pretty much, one, take out Superman from being in his way, but also trying to get Bad Lana to try to merge, and he's set on his mission for Allie, pretty much, getting everybody merged up so she can have her army. which Allie wasn't in this episode, so I'm pretty sure she'll probably come in the next episode. Maybe maybe if not the next one, the next episode after that. Because the way we left her, she was super powerful. So I'm wondering what's gonna happen. I bet you she'll come after the events of which I'll talk about in a minute, of pretty much Jonathan failing, because he thinks that he got killed Superman, so he ends up going after Jonathan again. Which again then it leads to Jordan going outside saying, "I got this. I can deal with this." And that was the best freaking fight scene I probably have seen maybe this season. That was so freaking cool to see the moment where, like, it looks like Jordan is getting his ass beat. But then he literally grabs John L's fist and said, "You think I'm the weak one?" Punches him up in the sky, and then he flies. Guys, if you guys could see my reaction, I screamed like a little girl. I was so fun. I was so happy. And I remember saying, my theory is that he was going to fly in this episode. I said, he's going to fly in this episode because he's going to know that he needs to do it to protect his brother. And that's exactly what happened. He flew up there, and that was some cool fight sequence. I haven't seen something like that since the one scene in Man of Steel where he's like when Superman is just punching Bizarro and keeps punching him and stuff. That was really cool, that fight sequence, and I just can't get over how sick it was to see him punch him and then fly up and do this. I was like, oh my god, it's happening. So seeing that fight sequence was so badass, and the moment when he like punches him like across the sky, and then he realizes, oh my god, I'm flying, and then he like ends up falling along with John L ends up like falling too, because at this point he's like knocked out from getting like his ass beat by Jordan. I think if anybody's the weak one, John L's the weak one, because Jordan kicked the shit out of him. It's not like oh you just turned around and threw Jordan against the thing. No, he literally kicked the shit out of you and said, "I'm the strong one." So when they get back to the ground, like, because Superman of course saves them both, and it was nice because at this point, you could see how Clark is kind of like, oh my god, you were flying almost or whatever. Like, oh my god, you flew, and you could just see the proud look on Lois's face. You could just see like the look on like, and also like the shocked look. Oh my god, my son's flying now, and like the shocked look and like that on Jonathan's face. Like, oh my god, you just flew. It was so awesome. I could not describe how happy I am. I'm gonna have to rewatch the episode because I just loved it. I rewatched that scene because that was the best scene of this episode. And then that moment, of course, when Jonathan, he ends up pushing John L away while he's like with Jordan right now, and he's like, oh, you know what I mean? He's like, he asked Jordan like, are you okay? And then John L's like, he won't be in a minute. And I love the moment where like Jordan walks over and says, "This is for my brother," socks him and makes him smack down to the ground. I was like, let's freaking go. Let's go. He's not going to want to fight you again, bro, because you just made your status of that you can kick his ass. And I feel like now that Jordan knows he can fly, he's going to be flying around a lot now, and I could cry, guys. I love this show so much. Like, I literally screamed like a little girl when he smacked him up the sky, and then he went, I'm geeking out. But I loved this episode. And of course from there, we see, of course, he ends up taking, apparently, John L to, I guess, one of those black sites, with, one of Sam's black sites, and then we get back up with Natalie and John, and they kind of realize, after he says to Natalie, "Thank you, for saving me, but, I'm supposed to be the one protecting you," and he realizes, because he has the conversation with Natalie, like, Natalie's like, this is serious, it's not just, John, that's not just like, there's going to be not just Jonathan coming from this inverse universe, and trying to go after Lana, but also trying to go after Jonathan. It's also, there's going to be other people coming here and Allie coming here. We need to, like, be prepared. And he kind of realizes, oh my god, if we totally, like, take out the portal in general, this won't be a problem anymore. And I think that's because we see the sneak peek for next week's episode, and it looks like, it looks like Sam and John Henry are like, oh, there's no one over there there's no one over there there's no one over there that I guess is like in need of saving. And he's like, I need to go over there and try, meaning that there is people over there he probably can still save still from, Ali Alston's reign of terror and stuff. So that just goes to show that I think that's going to be an argument that, that Sam and John Henry had, because it looks like he wanted to I guess connect with a contact, which I'm assuming is Sam, maybe having something that he needs to close the portal or an idea, which again, I think that's going to be a problem where, like, it looks like it is, because it looks like, Clark wants to go over there and save people, and they just want to just shut the portal before, a whole army of people coming over trying to, like, put people in the sunken place and trying to merge with people and stuff. And so, and pretty much do, like, and have, like, a whole army come over her, making her own army and then taking over the world. They just want to cut it off. So it reminds me a lot, like, the one storyline in Flash where, like, I think in Flash season 2 where, like, what was it, Zoom, like, I guess, he's in Earth 2, and he's trying to, like, and they want to close all the portals to Earth 2, but, like, Barry doesn't want to do that because he wants to save people over there. He doesn't want to just trap everybody over there with Zoom, and, you know what I mean, because he feels like Zoom is also his problem. And I feel like that we're getting that moment too where, like, Clark's like, no, Allie is our problem, and we can't just, like, close the portal and have people deal with that over there. And knowing that people are suffering over there, I need to help people that are left that need help over there, because their Superman is gone now. You know what I mean? Due to the events of their Superman wanting to help us out, and then, of course, Anderson killing him, so I can't just leave them without a Superman and leave them in need of help, because I know there's still people over there that need help. So it seems like that's going to be an issue next week, which I cannot wait to see how that's all going to go. See them both, Sam and it looks like Sam and John Henry wanting to close it, but Clark's like, no, I want to go over there and help people. Also, it looks like, since, kind of like John is kind of ignoring Natalie's, like, Natalie wanting to help, it looks like she's going to take it on upon herself, maybe to use the energy source of the XK that they originally went to the mines for, to power up their device. So I guess they could trap everybody in there. Maybe that's what she wants to do. That's what her idea is. I don't know if that's initially even what her idea is going to be, because I don't really know what quite that machine was quite for, besides because, Lois wanted a way to stop the connection between them both. So I'm pretty sure meaning, like, a capture device so that the connection would stop, I guess. So I'm excited to see what Natalie's going to be doing in the next episodes to come, because clearly, like, John is ignoring her and wanting to keep her protected and not letting her be involved. So I'm excited to see how it's all going to play out, but I'm also excited to see if, like, even if, like, John-El ends up getting out somehow. Who knows? I don't think he will, unless, like, Allie lets him out, because I feel like he's going to be in a cage with Red Sun, so he'll literally be weak and won't be able to use his powers at all. But also, I'm excited because I feel like we're definitely going to get another probably matchup between Jordan and John-El, probably in the finale or something like that. He'll get out and want to fight again, and then Jordan's like, I got him or something. That'd be really cool if we get something like that again, because that fight was so freaking sick. I just feel like he'll want to fight and win another round or whatever because he lost. I just can't wait. Hell, by the end of this season, I wouldn't be shocked if maybe Jonathan, his powers kicked into gear. But the way we end this episode, of course, is, of course, Clark getting back into the house after he's done taking Lana home, and he has that moment where, like, Lana's like, oh, like, she's like, oh, do you want to come in? Because she's trying to say you want to come, tell Superman, oh, you want to come in for a drink, because you saved me and stuff, and he's like, no, you should probably call, your family, they're probably in need of wanting to know where you are, and she's like, oh my god, yeah, you're right, Sarah's probably wondering where I am, and, he says, goodbye, Lana, or whatever, and then, like, flies away. And I was like, how do you not know that's Clark? I was like, it's so goofy to me. I love Superman. I love the whole thing of Superman, but I was like, it's so goofy that you cannot tell that is your best friend just not wearing glasses and wearing a costume. How? I was like, how? It's so goofy to me, but it's so funny. It's so good at the same time. It's goofy, but it's awesome at the same time. But of course, he goes back and they're all having a conversation, Jordan, Jonathan, and Lois. And Lois ends up reading the note that Jordan has. And they're all on the terms of how they think that Clark should pretty much tell everybody his identity. Tell Lana his identity. And eventually, Lana, I'm going to assume, is going to tell Sarah, is going to tell Sophie, is going to tell Kyle. And then I feel like it's just going to be a wildfire where, like, that won't be good enough for them because it will affect them some other way in their life that they can't, that they have to keep lying about their father being Superman, and they want the whole secret out in general. Even though that goes against everything that Jonathan Kent stood for, wanting his son Clark to have an identity so he'd have a normal life. He will no longer have a normal life once his identity is out. That's just plain and simple. And I feel like it will happen where it's like he won't try to let the fame get to him, but I feel like totally Jonathan will totally let the fame get to his head. I feel like it definitely will. I feel like even for Jordan, I don't know if it will, but it's like your father, I mean, like, this is his secret. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This is what's going to keep you guys safe. And I don't know if I agree with this. And when Lois kind of like was like even like brought it up in the first place, when she's like, when is it going to end? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's not just like he's going to be going after like, you know, like Lana, but like, you know what I mean? Like, this is like affecting us. It's affecting our family, you know? And Clark's like, what are you saying? Like, what do you mean? Like earlier in the episode. And she's like, maybe, you know, like before she says, maybe you should like tell like everybody your identity. He gets distracted, of course, you know what I mean, by, you know, Jonathan having, I think, another, connection with John L. But it's like that moment where they're all sitting at the table and they're all like saying, like, because he ends up coming back because he kind of realizes maybe that Lois and Jonathan and Jordan are right. Maybe I should tell Lana. It's like, it's not going to stop there. I feel like also that they didn't just mean tell Lana. I feel like they mean tell the world. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like that they want eventually meant he should tell the world, and you know what I mean. At least that's what Jonathan wants, and I don't even know if that's what Jordan wants, or he just wants to tell like he just wants like Clark to tell Lana, so Lana tells Sarah. But even then, it's like that's not even a secret, because I feel like even Lana is gonna have the same problem where she's like, oh, I can't stand keeping this secret because it's tearing my family apart that I'm keeping the secret. But it's also, she was already, but I feel like, you know, in a way it's like, but I feel like maybe she will keep the secret only because what proved to Clark in the moment where like he ends up dropping off Lana as Superman, you know, Lana was afraid to tell, you know, Lois and Clark about, you know, their son, you know, and what was going down. He's like, well, so Superman's like, no, that wasn't the Jonathan Kent, you know, that Jonathan Kent's from, you know, somewhere else. And she's like, you know, from your planet. And he's like, something like that. Meaning that, and she's like, oh, well, you know what I mean? She's like, I don't know still, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what to tell Lois. And he's like, I'll tell Lois. And she's like, well, that's not even really what I'm worried about. I'm worried about, like, what Clark will think, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And that's what kind of realized to him that, you know, she can, like, keep a secret. And, you know, she should be in on all what's going on. But I feel like I don't want her telling Kyle. I don't want her telling Sophie. I don't want her telling Sarah. Like, I mean, but I feel like that's what's going to happen. And I feel like once that happens, and even if that happens, they're not going to be able to want to keep that secret, and then they're going to tell their people. So it's like, I don't want this to become a Flash thing where, like, everybody knows everybody knows that Barry Allen is the Flash in the CW show, which is one of the biggest downfalls of why I hate that show, is that everybody knows he's the Flash. It's stupid. So I don't want this to be a thing where it's like the writers are kind of like trying to, like, in a way, like, you know, do this one thing, which again, I'm fine with having Lana know, but I think it should stop there. I don't think the whole world should know, because it takes the whole fun, I think, would take the whole fun out of the show if everybody knew. And I feel like, I don't know, I wouldn't like it. I don't think it's a good idea. And I don't know. And it's all boils down to because his kids are brats. That's what it all boils down to, and it's affecting Jordan's relationship. Even though I do think it's like, forget Sarah, bro. Like, I don't know. I lately have been like, I don't know. I've been, the way their relationship has been, I'm like, there's more important things than that. So it's like, and you're young, you don't know if she's the one. So I was like, it's so. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, the secret is bigger than that, because even if you tell her the truth about you and Clark being Superman, it's like that can put her in danger. And I don't think Jordan kind of realizes how much danger she could be put in, even though, I mean, she was already being put in danger when she didn't know that he was Superman, that he was, you know, that he had powers and stuff, and that Clark was Superman. But it's going to put her even more in danger now, especially if he's going to be like doing superhero stuff. It's going to put her in even more danger. I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about it. I'm excited to see how it will go, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like eventually Sarah, I know eventually Sarah is going to find out. Whether if she would have read the note or not, I know she's going to find out either from Lana now. That's what I'm thinking. It's probably going to happen, where Lana is going to tell Sarah, Kyle, Sophie, whatever. Or hell, just Sarah, Kyle, and Sophie's too young. Maybe they probably won't even tell her. I don't know. But it's kind of like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if this is going to be a thing where, like, they wanted it, them, like that Lois, Jordan, and Jonathan just wanted Clark to tell Lana to keep her, you know, involved in what was going on, because it concerns her now, because her life is in danger with this other, you know, this other Lana, this inverse Lana, also kind of knows that Clark is Superman even in that universe, so that could affect her in some other way, and you know what I mean, it could affect whatever. And also, like, she's trying to merge, so she's going to go after Lana. So they probably thought, okay, also if Lana knows, it'll keep her protected, because she knows that, you know, if something goes wrong, she can call me, you know. So it's also trying to protect her in the grand scheme of things. But it's also, there's other people, you know what I mean, like, you know what I mean, like, hell, at this point you should tell Chrissy, I guess, you know what I mean. It's like, because there's an inverse version of Chrissy, but the inverse version of Chrissy, as we know, that isn't a part of like Allie's cult, so they probably won't even tell Chrissy. Even though I think at this point, if you're gonna tell Lana, hell, tell Chrissy. So I mean, but you see how that opens up a door where everybody's just gonna know that Clark is Superman. I don't know how I feel about that. I want to know what you guys have to say down in the comments below. I just feel like Jonathan was out of line where he's like made it sound like that Clark was just keeping his secret just to keep his secret. Like, oh, as long as your secret's safe, you don't care like us how we're keeping your secret and how it's affecting us. No, dude, it's that you're making it sound like him keeping his secret is just for the benefit of him. It's for the benefit of the family, and so hell, you guys can even be a family. So he has time to be Superman and come back and be your father. It's like that's all gonna stop once that identity goes out, and that's what Clark doesn't want. And I feel like it won't stop there with just telling Lana. It's gonna be a bigger thing where like Jonathan already wants him to just tell the world he's Superman. And I think Jordan wants it too. I think Lois now thinks it should happen too, meaning we're not Bizarro and Bizarro's family. That won't happen to us. It could possibly happen. You don't know. You didn't see what Clark saw. It's like, I don't know. I'm excited to see where this is going to go, but I just feel like this is just going to spiral out of control if this secret gets out to the world. And it's sure as shit going to bring his enemies right to his doorstep. And that's not going to go well. But yeah, guys, I really did enjoy this episode. By far, the best part was that fight sequence between John-Al and Jordan. When Jordan gets the upper hand and smacks him up into the heavens. Like, best sequence. I loved that sequence. And yeah, guys, let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Let me know where you how you guys think about my concerns and stuff. And also want to know what are your theories about the next episode and the rest of the season. I think we only have a couple of more episodes left. Not too many episodes left, but I'm excited to see how the season is going to end. I already know that so far they've killed it this season, and I do think this is going to be another success of a season. Once the season is done, I think they'll have another masterpiece on their hands, and I'm so excited that the third season already got greenlit, and I'm just excited to see what's going to happen going forward in the next season. And I'm excited to see how this season is going to end. And yeah. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put those notifications, like this video. We'd love to have you guys here, a part of the fam, a part of the channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. And guys, we're almost yet again to 500 subscribers. Right now, we're at 492, almost to 500. Literally, we're super close. And guys, it's not only I want to get to 500, that is my goal, but it's also it activates the community tab, which makes me be able to communicate with you guys a lot more, and I ask you guys questions and talk to you guys when news drops about movies, TV shows, or about whatever. I can just talk to you guys, and it would just make a lot more fun here on the channel. I can communicate with you guys more, and and we can do some things together. So I would just if that's another benefit of us hitting 500 subscribers. Also, my birthday is this Sunday, and it would be an awesome gift if we could hit 500 before my birthday this Sunday. Also, guys, this is a damn big week. What a great way to start the week, of course, with All-American yesterday, but also we had, of course, this great episode of Superman&Lois today, but tomorrow is the last episode of the Moon Knight, or hell, tonight, I guess you could say, because it's tonight at 3 a.m., but technically it's tomorrow. I will be watching it tomorrow again, as usual, for letting people know, as usual, I will be doing it tomorrow, my Moon Knight review, and it's the finale, it's episode 6. I'm excited to see how that's going to end. I'm super excited, and of course, guys, the main event, the moment we've all been waiting for, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness drops this Thursday. If you guys knew how excited I am about this movie, the week these weeks have been crazy for me, because I've been doing a lot of rearranging to my room. I'll probably make a little short video, maybe a YouTube short about what I did to my room. But guys, this week has been crazy. And I just cannot believe we're finally getting Doctor Strange this Thursday, and I can't believe we're getting the finale of Moon Knight tomorrow. Not only that, I'm going to be starting up a new job next Tuesday. So that's crazy to me. I'm going to be starting a new job next Tuesday. And yeah, literally on May 27th, we have Obi-Wan. We have a lot of great things coming out this month, next month, and the months to come, whether it be Thor: Love and Thunder in July. I think that's July 8th, or something. And then, of course, we have in June, we have Umbrella Academy, if I'm correct. And then early June, we have The Boys. We have, crazy shit coming out, guys. And if you guys are interested in any of that, subscribe to the channel, put in notifications, like this video. Also, May 27th is the same day as Obi-Wan, that Friday. Stranger Things, season, 4, Part 1 drops and I'm excited. I cannot wait for Stranger Things Season 4 Part 1 to drop. I am stoked. I am excited. I cannot wait. And then Part 2 drops, I think, in July. I think it's July 3rd. So I cannot wait for that too. So we got a lot of stuff coming, guys. So again, if you're liking what you're hearing, subscribe to the channel, post notifications, like this video, because you guys are not going to miss all that stuff. Like, it's going to be crazy. I cannot wait. But guys, that was the video. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.